जय गजानन। गणेशाय नमस्तुभ्यं। हेरम्बाय एकदन्तिने स्वानन्दवासिने तुभ्यं ब्रह्मणस्पतये नमः। Good morning, everybody. We are looking at Khand 2 of Mudgal Puran. So we are at an interesting point where we were discussing the solar system. Now, the solar system, as we all know, consists of the planets, sun at the center, and also Earth is one of the planets, the third planet in the serial order: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and so on. And all the planets orbit around the sun, revolve around the sun. At the same time, they are rotating on their own axis. This is the general solar system which we know. Plus, apart from this, we have the nakshatras, constellations. Today, I'm going to reveal a certain discovery which even I discovered just this morning. Now, here we know of the solar system as the sun around which the planets rotate, and everything, the seasons, the time, the calendar, everything is revolving around the solar system. Now, yesterday I had mentioned the chariot of the sun is 9,000 yojanas in length. The chariot of the sun is 9,000 yojanas. One yojana is 13 kilometers. Its axle is 18,000 yojanas in length. Axle is when in the chariot, there is one kind of a rod which is stuck, which is extended from the chariot. That is 18,000 yojanas in length. From Dhruva, the Dhruva star, which is to the north of the sun, from Dhruva, the axle is presumed to be at a distance of 100,000 yojanas. Okay. One wheel with 12 spokes rests on Mount Manasa. Mount Manasa is in Satyaloka, Brahmaloka, the highest loka. At the other end of the axle, assuming Dhruva to be the center of the wheel, if we draw a circle with a radius of 100,000 yojanas, it will map the orbit of the sun. Okay. Now we are considering sun to be stationary. Now here it is mentioned 100,000 yojanas of the Dhruva, around which the sun's orbit is there. So now you are going to come into an interesting discovery of this entire solar system, this cosmos as such. These 12 spokes represent the 12 Rashis, zodiac signs. Gayatri is one of the seven and a chief horse yoked to the chariot of the sun, which has 7 meters, or 7 horses are there to the chariot of the sun. Okay, so far this much we have seen. This is of the solar system, and we saw the Manasa mountain. To the east is Indra, to the west is Varuna, to the north is Kubera, and to the south is Dharmaraja. So to the east is the city of Amravati, that is of Indra, and in the southern direction is the glorious city of Sanyamani, and in the west is the Sukha, to the north is Viva. The sun during its orbit would illuminate the various cities of the gods sequentially at dawn. That is here the sun's orbit, in the sense that is when the sun rises to sunrise to sunset. At dawn, Mahendra city, Amravati, it will start. Then in the afternoon, we come to Yama. In the evening is Varuna. Night is Kubera. And that is how we saw how we do the Sandhya Vandanam when we are breathing through both the nostrils. That is when we are in the central Nadi or the Sushumna Nadi. Okay. So this was what we had discussed yesterday. Today, we will see an interesting thing. 12 Suryas emerged from the Amsha of the divine Ravi. So if we consider sun as Ravi, who was the original Amsha of the Supreme, there are 12 Suryas. They ride their chariots. So I told you that this is a wheel which is attached to the Dhruva Nakshatra. Dhruva, which is the pole star. They ride their chariots, illuminating the 12 respective months. When Ravi arrives in this chariot, he is accompanied by his entourage, that is Devas, Adityas. Now we are discussing the Surya Mandala, the solar loka or the Surya Loka, Shaura Loka, the cosmos of the Surya. He is accompanied, he has his all his people in his kingdom or in his loka. There are Devas, Adityas, Munis, Gandharvas, Apsaras, Charioteers, Gramani, that is who is a Yaksha, Sarpas, serpents, and Rakshasas. Just like every other loka, there are human beings, Devas, Rakshasas, Sarpas, Nagas, and everything. So also in the Saura Mandala, in the Surya Mandala, Saura Mandala, also there are all of these living beings. The 12 Suryas are the names of the 12 Suryas, which are at the spokes of the 12 of the wheel. Dhata, Aryama, Mitra, Varuna, Vivaswana, Shakra, Pusha, Parjanya, Anshu, Bhaga, Twasta, and Vishnu. Now, normally, we are all familiar with Vishnu Purana, Shiva Purana, and this, but we rarely have delved into the Shaura Loka or Surya Loka or anything to do with the deities in Saura Loka. But there is in Ahmedabad, in Gujarat, there are people who are Shauryas, that is, who are follower of the Surya as the supreme. So they may have a greater depth, in-depth knowledge of this particular Shaura Loka. So there are 12 Suryas whose names are Dhata, Aryama, Mitra, Varuna, Vivaswana, Shakra, Pusha, Parjanya, Anshu, Bhaga, Twastu, and Vishnu. They illuminate Vasanta, that is spring season, and others serially. Then there are Munis or Rishis, like just as how we have Sapta Rishis. So the Shaura Mandala or Shaura Loka has Pulastya, Pulaha, Atri, Vasishta, Angira, Bhrigu, Bharadwaja, Gautama, Kashyapa, Kritu, Jamadagni, Kaushika, that is Vishwamitra, the 12 Munis. So here they have 12 Munis because there are 12 Suryas. They are learned in the sacred text called Brahmavadi. Here we use all Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda and all. There they are, their sacred texts are called Brahmavadi or Brahmaveda, you can say, who stand before them and extolled by us by singing a number of verses chanted in the Vedic meter Chanda. Chanda is a meter in which they sing those extolling the praises. All their prayers are in that. Then the horses, who's controlling these horses of Surya's chariot are Rathakrita, Rathauja, Rathachitra, Swabahuka, Rathaswana, Varuna, Sushena, Senajit, Takshriya, Arishtanemi, Rathajit, and Satyajit were the charioteers. That is Gramani. That is the ones who are holding the reins of the chariots. They control the reins of the horses of the chariot of Surya's chariot. These were the names of the charioteers. Then Heti, Praheti, Paurusheya, Vadha, Sarpa, Vyagra, Vyadha, Vata, Vidyut, Divakara, Brahmopeta, Yagnopeta are the 12 important Rakshasas. These were the 12 important Rakshasas who are walking in front of the sun. So there is the horses. Then the horses' reins are connected, are held by the charioteers, who are these 12 charioteers we mentioned. And in front of these horses are the 12 Rakshasas who are navigating the sun. The solar mandala is these people, these Rakshasas are the ones who are navigating, who are controlling the navigation. These Rakshasas who are traveling in front of the sun. They are the ones who control the navigation. Then Vasuki, Kankanira, Takshaka, the chief of Nagas, Elapatra, Shankapala, Airavata, Dhananjaya, Mahapadma, Karkotaka, Kambala, Ashwatara are the 12 Nagas. That 12 Nagas are the ropes which are tied to the chariot. That is the reins. The reins are these are the Nagas who are the ropes. They are the 12 months who carry Surya through the 12 months sequentially harness his horses. Okay. So these Nagas are the ones who are controlling the 12 months, and which are tied to the horses. Then Tumbaru, Narada, Haha, Huhu, Vishwavasu, Ugrasena, Vasuruchi, Avivasu, Chitrasena, Ornayu, Dhritarashtra, and Suryavarcha are the 12 Gandharvas, celestial musicians who are playing music in the Surya Mandala. They sing before Surya and they play the musical instruments. Then you have Ghanasthani, Rambha, the famous Punjika Sthali, Menaka, Sahajanya, Pramlocha, Anumlocha, Dritachi, Vishwachi, Urvashi, Purvachitti, Tilotama, who are all the Apsaras who are dancing and they are performing the Tandava and other dances during the spring and other season to entertain Surya. So now we generally feel, okay, Urvashi, Tilotama, these people are there in the Indra's, in Swarga, Indraloka. But see, those who are worshippers of Surya, I told you there are Panchadevas. We worship Panchadevas, Vishnu, Shiva, Shakti, Surya, and Brahma. So those who are worshippers of Surya, where do they go? So if when they reach their highest level, Brahma Bhuyatva, that is going through the Sampragnat Samadhi, Asampragnat Samadhi, the various stages of Samadhi, when they attain union with their supreme deity, that is Surya, they will go to Shauraloka, and in Shauraloka also you will find all these Urvashi, Narada, all these people, the musical instruments, the dances and everything for enjoyment. So the enjoyment, the pleasures for punya that you gain out of good karma that you do on earth, you will get the enjoyments in all these respective lokas, and there also the same kinds of enjoyments are there. And the same amshas or same, you can say, manifestations, the people who perform are the same in all these lokas. They are all a part of the divine creation, and they are all many because these apsaras, angels, and all, they are celestial beings and they can multiply themselves and they are eternal. Means they don't have like a birth or death. So they are always existing and they are there everywhere. So in this way, the different gods stay with the lustrous Surya for 2 months each and amuse them. And amuse him. So Munis extolled his praise with their compositions sung in with faith and devotion through stotras and all. They compose and they sing the praise in front of Surya. Then Gandharvas, the celestial musicians, they play the musical instruments, and the Apsaras, they perform the dances. So now you can imagine the five Pancheshwaras and that your favorite deity, which we do Panchayatana Puja, we all do in India nowadays. And we are earlier we used to have single worship, means we only want the person used to worship only one god. But many are smartas. Smartas are those who worship this, who do this Panchayatana Puja. So in a Panchayatana Puja, you have your favorite deity in the center. You'll perform the puja first. Of course, first is Ganesha. Ganesha is uniform. So once Ganesha is performed for removing obstacles and all, and then you perform this puja of the god in the center, and then you have the other deities in the four places, four sides, who perform, whose puja is also performed, may not be so much in detail as the puja of the god or the deity, your favorite deity in the center. So this is the Panchayatana Puja, which is generally performed by many in India. Of course, there are people who do only worship of Shiva, only worship of Vishnu. That also is there. Then, so the Gramanis, the charioteers are sitting on the axle, control the reins. They are controlling the reins. The serpents carry the lord of the Devas, that is Surya, and harness the horses. So these serpents, which are held in the hands of the charioteers, who are pulling the charioteer, and they are tied to the horses. Rakshasas navigate. Means Rakshasas, they are the ones who will decide which direction to go, or they find a way. Valakilyas accompany the sun from sunrise beyond the mountains to sunset behind the mountains. They bring heat, are the cause of the rain, they illuminate, they flow, and they create. So these Valakilyas, they accompany the sun from sunrise to sunset. They also sit on vimanas or aeroplanes, which can be maneuvered freely like the wind, and which has the velocity of the winds and shower rains, radiate heat, and create enthusiasm among the subjects. So these Valakilyas are, you can say, they are the people who keep things moving. They are the ones who keep things moving, in the sense they keep the clouds moving, they bring the rains, they are riding on aeroplanes. So that is, they are the wind, you can say. They move in the wind, in the air, and they keep things moving. They protect the gross and subtle elements when the yuga comes to an end, taking their taking their um, they protect the grass and subtle elements when the yuga comes to an end, taking their form. The Surya shines daily. Okay, so this is how all the whole, these are the workmen, you can say, or the people who keep things moving in the Surya Mandala and help Surya to rise daily and set daily. This lord of the subjects, Prajapati, is responsible for the cycle of day and night. Ravi is responsible for prosperity of the ancestors, devas, human, and all beings. So Prajapati, or the Lord, the king of all these devas, he is responsible for keeping the Surya Mandala moving day and night, day in and day out, through every day. So clockwork precision, sunrises, sunsets. You can never, there is never a day when the sun doesn't rise. So, and Ravi is responsible for and Ravi is that god or deity to whom we pray or we make offerings which are taken to the ancestors. We do pitru, that is, we do shraddha and things like that. So it is meant for our ancestors, our prayer for the ancestors. It is Ravi to whom we pray. Such is the glory of this Ansha of Ganesha, that is, who is Divakara, who assumes the Divakara is the name of the god who is Kala, who regulates, who assumes the form of time, Kala, and regulates it. So the remaining 8 grahas, the planets, are chained to Dhruva. Now listen. See the subtle difference between our interpretation so far about the solar system and this in connection with Dhruva. We have totally ignored Dhruva. We are just saying, okay, Dhruva is there, a pole star. That's all we know about it. And except for the story of Dhruva, which I'll also tell you about the story of Dhruva. Now, all these 8 planets, that is all our 8 planets, you can say, because Rahu and Ketu are half and half. So all the Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, all of them are chained to Dhruva. Means permanently chained to Dhruva and harnessed to Surya. Harnessed to Surya means they are permanently tied to the Dhruva, that is a pole star, and then tied by a rope to Surya, and Surya controls it. Surya is the one who regulates, but we are permanently tied to Dhruva. So it is harnessed by reins. By reins means ropes or how the horse. The horses are tied to the chariot by means of certain leather ropes, leather strings, you can say. That is called reins, R-E-I-N-S, not R-A-I-N-S. So those are reins, and that reins is in the form of wind. So these 9 planets or the 8 planets are chained to Dhruva, but are tied by reins to Surya. So this is a slight difference from our interpretations so far in this world. So far, this is a slight variation from our interpretations. So they are nourished by the rays of Surya and revolves in the skies. For all our practical purposes, we get all our nourishment from the sun. But our ultimate permanent tie-up is with Dhruva, the sun, along with other 8 planets revolve. So the sun, along with the 8 planets, revolves around Dhruva. So far, what we have been interpreting, sun is permanent. All these 8 planets are revolving around sun. And the sun, and we are also, the earth is also rotating, revolving every day around the sun. But the sun also, along with all these 8 planets, is revolving around Dhruva. To Dhruva, we are attached by chains but we are attached to Surya by reins of the wind. Okay. So now I'll tell you so today, if I tell you the story of Dhruva, then we may not be able to have meditation. But I'll tell you the story of Dhruva. Most of you may be knowing. It's not new. Dhruva was Swayambhu Manu's. Swayambhu Manu, we know he's of Manu, of son of Brahma. Brahma had 2 sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapada. Priyavrata, we have seen all the 7 lokas and everything. Priyavrata's sons whom they married and everything, and their children, everything we saw. Now the other son, Uttanapada was also equally righteous and ruling and everything. Now Uttanapada had 2 wives, Suruchi and Suniti. Suruchi gave birth to Uttama and Suniti gave birth to Dhruva. So these are the 2 sons. Now we saw that in the Priyavrata, the first son of Brahma, Swayambhu Manu, we saw that he had 7 sons and who were the lords of each of these lokas, Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Suvarloka, Maharloka, all that we saw. So now the other son, Uttanapada, see how great he is. He had 2 wives. He had the Suruchi gave birth to the eldest son, who is known as Uttama, and the second son was named as Dhruva. Now the story goes like this. This king Uttanapada, he preferred the first wife, that is Suruchi. He was more in favor of Suruchi, and so that her son Uttama had greater liberty with this king. So Uttama used to go and sit on the lap of this king, Uttanapada, and play and everything as a small child. And he was given all that liberty. One day, Dhruva wanted to sit, Dhruva, the son of the second wife, that is Suniti. He saw that, this Uttama is just able to go, but he was not allowed to go and sit on the lap of the king. So because he was told that the elder wife, that is the first wife, that Suruchi, Uttama's mother, Suruchi used to tell, listen, Dhruva, you are unfortunate. You are unlucky that you are not born from my womb. So you are not allowed to sit in your father's lap. So he was constantly looked down upon. He was given an inferior place. And Suruchi was also used to also look down upon Suniti. Suniti was an unfavored wife of Uttanapada, you can say. Not so much. It's not that he didn't love her, but in front of Suruchi didn't allow that. Okay. So Suruchi said to him, child, if you wish to sit on the lap of your father, you ought to have been born in my womb, she would say. So now that is not possible. He was the Dhruva already. He was Suniti was a mother. So when Suniti knew what had happened, she used to simply cry, and she never used to assert her position as also the wife of Uttanapada. So then what she would say, so Dhruva one day he said, I want to get that position of position even higher than that boy, that Uttama. I don't want to be looked down upon. I want to attain a position higher than that. So what should I do? He goes and asks his mother, Suniti. So Suniti says that she was a devotee of Vishnu, Mahavishnu. So she says, go and pray to Mahavishnu. He only can give you a position. He can give you anything what you want. Okay, so this is what she assures him, that he is the only person who can assure you of any position that you want. So this boy takes it very seriously. After all, he was just how much 4 years or 5 years, very young, small child. He began penance. He decided that okay, if Mahavishnu is my savior, I will just do it. He went to the forest. He started staying in the ashrams of hermits, munis, sages, and saints, and did penance, severe penance. He stayed in the forest of Madhuvana on the banks of the river Yamuna. And Suniti tried to persuade him to come back, but no, he didn't listen at all. At last, he intensified the penance more and more and more. Finally, Mahavishnu came in front of him. Mahavishnu appeared before Dhruva, and Dhruva requested for a lofty and eternal place for him. So Dhruva Vishnu pointing to Dhruva, he pointing to a place above the sun. He pointed out to that place, that is a higher place than the planets, stars, Saptarishi that we saw, Bhurloka, Swarloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka also, Saptarishis, Tapoloka, and beyond that, that is Ursa Major. And the Devas, that is Janaloka, and beyond the Tapoloka, who traveled in aeroplanes, Mahavishnu says that Dhruva, you will have a lofty place as a star till the end of the Kalpa. So beyond that, that will be your position. You will attain that position. So Dhruva, Vishnu assures Dhruva that. And so Suniti would also remain, and then he also says, you will remain there as till the end of the Kalpa. In a Kalpa, there are 14 Manvantras. So Kalpa is a long, long period of time. In each Kalpa, there are 71 to 72 Chaturyugas. One Chaturyuga is 12,000 years. So 72 Chaturyugas. Then like that, there are, and in one Kalpa, that is in this 72 Chaturyugas, there are 14 Manvantaras. So there are 14 Manus in each. So even then, you will be beyond all kalpa. Now, this is in one Manvantara, Dhruva was born. So he will live for the whole 14 Manvantaras, the whole kalpa, and his mother Suniti will also remain as a star near Shiva as long as Dhruva lived. So this story is there in the Vishnu Purana. You can go and see the Vishnu Purana. So that is how Dhruva is a star beyond the sun. So around the sun will be annihilated every Manvantara. So even the sun may end every Manvantara, but Dhruva will still remain, and that is why the Surya Mandala also revolves around Dhruva. So that is what is given in this chapter of the second khand of the Mudgal Puran. So then this is the Surya Mandala, and then Dhruva Mandala is still there, which we have not even explored. The chariot of Chandra, the moon, consists of 3 wheels. It is hauled by 10 horses. Now we are coming to the Chandra, that is a moon, which is around the earth, which revolves around the earth, and also revolves along with the earth, it revolves around the sun. It has 10 horses, which are like jasmine flowers, that is white flowers. They are harnessed to the chariot on the right side and left side. Both, there are two reins. They create night. They are mostly, they create night. The orbit of the moon is on the same path as the orbit of the sun. That's just like the sun rises and sun sets, same place. Moon also rises and moon also sets in the same orbit. The moon during the waxing phase, means there are phases of the moon, 2 fortnights. We have the new moon and the full moon. So from new moon to the full moon, the sun starts waxing, that is, starts increasing in size little by little by little, and it reaches the full moon, and from full moon time it starts waning. That is a waning period. The certain crescents by crescent, it starts vanishing or reducing in the light. Now what happens during this period is, in the waxing period, from the new moon to the full moon, or from the first day of the after the new moon, it starts getting nourishment from the sun. The moon, that crescent portion of the moon, starts getting nourishment from the sun. Means the sun's rays falls on the moon during the waxing period, and during the waning period, little by little, the energy of the sun goes to the other devas. The devas absorb those energy of the moon. Means there is no sun's rays, so that portion of the energy is taken away by the Pitras, that's the ancestors. Ancestors' food they get during the waning. By the devas take it during the waning period, and on the full moon day, on the new moon day, Amavasya day, we perform the Amavasya Tarpanam. We do the Amavasya Tarpanam. So on that Amavasya day, what we do, Swadha, that Swadha portion goes to the ancestors. So on that day, new moon day, there is neither the devas get anything, nor the human beings take. During the waxing period, the nourishment is taken from the sun and passed on to the plants, human beings, and everything on earth. So there is an increasing nourishment. On that Amavasya day, it goes to the Pitras, ancestors. That is why we should do the Tarpanam on the new moon day. So on the Amavasya or the new moon day, ancestors drink the minute amount of swadha, that is a nourishment, which is in a subtle form, which keeps them satiated for the whole month. That food is enough to satiate them for the whole month. As a result of having savored the moon, the nectar from the moon, because on that day, nobody else gets the nectar of the moon, means the nourishment from the moon. We saw that moon is the one which nourishes everything on earth, as well as to the devas, to the pitras, and everybody. So on the new moon day, the pitras get the nourishment. And moon's Mercury, then Mercury is Buddha, that is, it is a son of Chandra's son, moon's son, means it's an offspring from the moon. His chariot is hauled by 4 lions, which travel at the speed of wind. That's why the Mercury travels very fast. It has the speed of revolution of the Mercury around the sun itself is, I think, 72 days or something like that. Something very, very less, very fast. The chariot of Venus, the Shukra, the next one. So now we are talking about the chariots of all the planets. We saw the sun, the moon, the Mercury, then chariot of the Venus. Next is Venus, Shukra. It is made of gold and it is hauled by 8 horses. Okay, it is hauled by 8 horses. Mercury has 4, which is 4 lions. The chariot of the next is Mars. Mars Mangal is hauled by 8 rams. Rams pull the chariot of Mars, and it is hauled by 8 of them. Then the next is Jupiter, that is Guru. It is golden in color and is hauled by 8 horses who are red in color. The chariot of the Saturn, Shani, it is made up of iron and is hauled by 8 black vultures. 8 black vultures haul the chariot of Shani Devata, Shani, Saturn. Then you have Rahu and Ketu, Uranus and Neptune. Rahu's chariot is yoked to black lions. The chariot of Ketu is pulled by pigeons. So these are the chariots. Pluto is the latest discovery. It doesn't come under the solar system. So Pluto is not considered as a planet according to the planet of Surya Mandala. I've described the chariots of all the 9 planets. All are chained to Dhruva. They are chained to Dhruva by a cord made of wind, Vayu. The grahas, planets, nakshatras, that is all the constellations, tarakas, taras, stars, are always supported by Dhruva. Dhruva is also orbiting, but the solar system orbits it. Solar system orbits around Dhruva as though reined to it by a thick cord in the form of Vayu. Vayu is the chain is made up of air or Vayu, wind. Oh Prajapati, Daksha Prajapati, that is Mudgalacharya is telling the story of the Surya Mandala to Daksha Prajapati. We are all Dakshas here. This astrological wheel revolves in the cosmos. It is supported by Dhruva. Thus ends the 13th chapter of the second Khand of the Puran Upanishad, Srimad Mudgal Puran, describing the legends of Ekadanta. This was during the manifestation of Ganesha as Ekadanta. So, as Ganesha's ansh of Ekadanta was this aspect of Sauramandala. Or Shauraloka, where Dhruva is the star. And Dhruva was a star which was formed later. Remember, okay, this was when the Swayambhu Manu, Surya was already there as one of the Panchadeva Devatas. And Dhruva, because of his prayer to Mahavishnu, he was installed beyond Surya. This was in the after Manu was born. So enough shift of gravity in your minds. Gravitational, I mean, the point of gravity, total shift in our whole concept of visualization of this whole cosmos. How the creation, after creation, evolves. We say new stars are formed, new universes are formed. How? Where is the record for that? Anybody has लिख के रखा है क्या? लिख के रखा है. It is written not now. It was written so many yugas ago. And we still, even before Jesus Christ, the three magi's, who came seeing the pole star, means they came searching for the crib of where Jesus was born, in the stable where Jesus was born, who was lying in the stable on a crib, that is on a cradle, we can say, or on the grass, dry grass, on the three magi who came to pay gifts, who give gifts to that child, holy child, they were guided by Dhruva, the pole star. And according to the direction of the pole star, they came right up to the place, Bethlehem, where Jesus was born. So this was always there, already there. So it is not a new thing, a new formation. It was already formed. So there is a path of evolution even at the cosmic level. It keeps forming according to all these vibrations, or you can say according to all the push and pull and of all the planets, the heat, the wind, and everything. So new stars are formed, new well, it also depends on the evolution. It ultimately, it's all based on evolution, because Dhruva, as a child of Manu, he prayed, he did penance, he wanted those additional powers, or a place in this solar system, or in this cosmos. So he got a position. So it all depends on evolution, how much effort is taken by an evolved being to attain that level. They say Buddha and Mahavira, they are not incarnations, but they are evolved beings from human, right from the smallest. As a human being, they evolved little by little, little by little, and to attain the level of a Buddha or Mahavira. So they attained that levels. So that is almost like a divinity. They had attained divinity, and the people who worship them, or who believe in their teachings, they have formed religions of them. Jain religion, Buddhism is a religions evolved out of their teachings, out of their influence of their ideologies, or their what you can say, um, uh, what is that? Their rules, or rules of living, their code of conduct, and all those things. Accordingly, they follow those codes of conduct, different codes of conduct by different people, and they make it as a religion, a kind of a uh, system to follow. Okay. Well, so this is the story of this world, this universe, one aspect of it. We shall continue this now. What is how many minutes we have? Yeah, we have another 15 minutes more. So we'll reflect on this for the next 15 minutes, on the very vastness of this universe, and how tiny we are as we sit in our own homes, as we come back to our lives, our physical body, this complex equipment, mind, body, intellect, spirit, consciousness, all of them integrated into this package, which we call ourselves by whatever name we are identified with. And for us, this is the world. As individual personalities, we identify with this body, we identify with the thoughts in our mind, and we come to conclusions and judgments during our interactions with the world, and thus we form our own universe. We live in this universe of our own. For those who don't look beyond this universe, and live in the old universe of their own creation, it can become an illusion. Maya is the force that drives these illusions. Maya is a name given to that force that spins illusions that are enchanting, attractive, and gives all kinds of pleasures to keep us bound to that illusion. If we are not constantly present and aware of this illusion, it's easy, very easy, to succumb to this illusory bondage. It binds us not only for this lifetime, but several lifetimes. So the only solution is just be present. The present is the gift you give to yourself for being present. Presence is truly a gift. Prasad, because it keeps you in touch with the universal reality. When you're present in the moment, you not only hear with your ears, but you hear with your whole being. Every cell in your body listens. Heightened awareness. You feel fully present. In fact, you feel your own presence. Not be in the presence, but you are the presence itself. In this kind of presence, everything gets magnified. Feel that sounds get magnified, your own breath gets magnified. Feel the sound of your breath as it passes through your trachea. The windpipe. It's as though you're breathing through your whole Sushumna Nadi, right from the top of your head into your lungs. To really become conscious of your breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Rub your palms together. of your palms, place it on the eyes, and gently rubbing your face. Open your eyes.